Hello and welcome to the demo video for the website visitor report. Now what this is, it's basically a spreadsheet that captures a lot of data from Google Analytics. So if you don't have Google Analytics set up, this just isn't going to work for you. So what I'd suggest you do is get the Google Analytics set up first on your website, and then you can pick the components below that you want on your report. So how this really works is that you can see all the different components at the bottom. You go and collect data from various sources, all within Google Analytics, but just various different locations within Google Analytics. Get the required data, paste it in each month for each section, and then go to the report, which as you can see is quite a long detailed report. And as you can see down the right hand side of the report, there's this colored line to show you what color each color obviously pertains to each of these different tabs, so you can see what will be included with those particular tabs. I'll go through this report in more detail as I go through each phase, but let me just show you initially how to set this up, because how this works is over a 12-month period. So the first thing, you just put your website link in there. This isn't going anywhere, it doesn't collect any information. All it does is just show up on the report. So now what you've got is you've got 12 months. Now this will be blank when you get a new copy. What you do is the first one, type in the first day of the first month that you're going to input data. So if I started inputting data for May 2019, you put in 1st of May 2019. When you put in a date that's not calculated, because it's a drop down list, it'll say, are you sure you want to use that date? Just click OK, yes, and then you start with that month. Then what happens is in all of these different tabs, you'll see there's the month number here and it'll say May 2019. Then all you do is you go and collect the respective data. It tells you here where to find it on Google Analytics, and paste values in that section. And that's exactly the same for all of the other ones. And then what you do the next month is when you come to the next month and you select, because the last month was May, the next month will automatically have the 1st of June in a drop down list, so just select it. Until you go down, 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 all the way through, collecting 12 months worth of data. Now you've got a complete 12-month view, a bird's eye view of your website activities. Now the problem, it's not really a problem, but now what happens is it starts overriding the oldest date, so that you can always have a 12-month rolling period. So what's happened here is, because I've got to the end of the 12 months, the 1st of May is now 2019, now becomes the 1st of May 2020. So now when you override that, then what you need to do is go to these other pages, and what you'll see is at the moment it says that's the latest month of the 12 month, but that will change as soon as I change the date, and it'll say this is the latest month. Then all I do is I go here, I right click, clear contents, obviously the whole thing, and then get the new data and paste the new data in here for May 2020. So you're basically overriding the old month with the new month. That's why I've set it up with all 12 months, because A, I want to show you a complete graph, but B, I want to show you how to get the new data and how to replace that data. So it's the same principle if you're starting, but if you're starting, you just have a blank set to work with, and now you're going to actually have to remove data. So I thought I'll show you from 12 months on. But that's the concept behind how this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by looking at the view report, the view tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off one tab by each tab one at a time and go through. There may well be some repetition here. So if you want to jump to a tab, if you go back to the beginning of this video, and you can have a look at the first intro of the video, it'll give you a breakdown of the times of when each of these different tabs start, because there may well be a fair bit of repetition, because I'm going to go into quite a bit of detail showing you how to get all the information and everything. But before I do that, I want to show you first and foremost, when we come to a new month and we fill up the 12 months, we need to add the next month on. So the first thing I do is I come here and I say 1st of May 2020, and I select that. So now you see that's the oldest month. Now it's the 1st of June, it's changed. So now what I do is I go to the views, and it says latest of the 12 month, 1st of May 2020, but this has got May 2019. So if we're starting on the view page, we start on the views, and what I do now is I remove that data. So I go to that, right click, clear contents, and that data is gone. So now I need to replace this with May of 2020. So what I do now is, this is telling me in Google Analytics. If I go to Google Analytics Audience Overview, if I go to Google Analytics, this is the first page when you get into Google Analytics. Down the right hand side, Audience, and then Overview, it will give me a graph. It's quite slow at the moment. There we go. While that's getting ready, let's have a look here. It says there page views versus sessions. So if we come here, select page views, and then we come here and we select sessions, page views versus sessions. Now what we need to, what's next? What we need to do next is select the date range. So now what we need to do is we need to go May 2020 to the 31st of May, 1st of May to 31st of May, apply. So you've got that last date. Anything else we need to do? Nope. Export as Excel SX, which is an Excel document. That will then download. Excuse me. Then if you open that up, what you'll end up with now is a spreadsheet. Do click enable editing, because otherwise it kind of restricts the data that you can get from the spreadsheet. Enable editing, we just widen that column. Now you've got the dates, 1st of May, page views versus sessions. Go down to the bottom, we don't include the totals at the bottom. Right click, copy, come to the spreadsheet, right click, paste values. So now you've got May 2020 in the May 2020 slot, and that is all you need to do for the views. There is one other thing which I will just draw your attention to on the view page. If you scroll right across the right, here's some bank holidays options. But the reason for this is one of the things the views show on the report is how many views you got on a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, but also how many views you got on a bank holiday. So obviously any Monday that was a bank holiday won't show as a Monday, it'll show as a bank holiday. So you can separate between normal Mondays and bank holidays. The spreadsheet needs to know when the bank holidays are. Under normal circumstances, if nothing changes, leave everything as it is, the spreadsheet will know exactly what to do. It can calculate the bank holidays. The problem comes in is when a bank holiday is changed. Now, the 4th of May bank holiday in 2020 actually changed to the 8th of May. So the spreadsheet will calculate it as the 4th of May, but it's actually changed to the 8th. So all you do is you put in the original bank holiday. If it finds the original bank holiday in the calculations, it's checking 2 years at a time. It'll put a little tick there to go, yeah, I found that bank holiday, and then put in the new bank holiday and it'll change it. If you leave that in here and you come back 3 years later, you'll see that that tick will turn to a cross because it can't find it because it's not looking for that bank holiday anymore. That's fine. If it's a cross, it'll just ignore it. But if there's a tick, what that's saying is it's taken the 4th of May and it's changed it to the 8th of May. That's all. But that's, as I said, only under very, very rare circumstances. Once you've done that, you go to the report. Now you can see the report's actually just switched because everything's changed around, and you can see your page views and sessions on the report per month. You can also see your page views and sessions per day of the week, so you can see which day your website's more popular, page views and sessions. You can also see the average, so the average page views per session, so you can see which months you're getting actually longer views than what you normally do, or shorter views than what you normally do. And here you can see all the numbers that it's got, showing you which months you've gone down, which months you've gone up. As you can see, in September I had a massive increase. That was really down to the Rugby World Cup. I had a few spreadsheets for that, and the site just went absolutely crazy. So you can see what the change is month on month in sessions, and then page views per session, and you can see what percentage. So for the whole 12-month period, September accounted for 33.39% of my page views. So that gives you a breakdown of the page views, quite a simple but obviously a nice overview as far as what the visits to your website is looking like. So the next one we need to move on to is the bounce rate reports. Let's take a look at that page. Alright, so here's the bounce rate report. As per the other ones, we've still got May 2019 data in. This is the latest result. We're looking for May 2020. So what we do is we highlight that, right click, clear contents. Now we need to go to Google Analytics and find this data. So what you have to go to is audience overview and bounce rate versus sessions. So we're already actually in audience overview, but if you didn't, you look down the left here, audience overview, it'll bring this page up. Then we need to have a look at bounce rate versus sessions. So if we change this to bounce rate and sessions, that was fine. Then you need to set the date range. The date range is already set because I've done it for a previous tab, but if that wasn't, you just select there and click on the starting and end date and click apply. That will then get that ready, and I think that's all you need to do. It's going to have a look. Yeah, the next thing you need to do is export. So if we click here and we go export as an Excel document, that will then do the download. If we open that one up, it's raw data again. Always click enable editing, otherwise it doesn't give you full access to the data. Go to the first data set, widen it, start at the top from the first date, not the headers. Shift control and down. We don't include the totals at the bottom. Right click, copy, go back to here, paste values. Never normal paste. Normal paste will paste the formatting from the old spreadsheet, always paste values. And that's that. We've now got the new data. So let's go to the report. So you can see the report's just changed to update. Everything moves back and we've got the new month on. So now you've got the bounce rate. So what we can see here is we can see the bounce rate per month, but we can also see the sessions. So here we've actually had the most sessions in September, but the lowest bounce rate. So whatever I did in September, which I know what I did in September in order to achieve that, you can actually now see that that was quite successful with regard to having a lot more sessions and a lower bounce rate. Here you can come in and you can have a look. These are all the sessions. The red ones are the red limit is the number, the portion of that actually bounced off per week, and then the per day of the week, sorry, and then the successful sessions are the ones that didn't bounce off. So you can see if there's any particular day where A, you're getting more sessions, but also B, where they're bouncing off or where they're not bouncing off. That may give you some clues. You can also have a look at the percentage. So you can see here the bounce sessions and successful sessions each month. So here you can see obviously a lot more sessions in September, but also a higher proportion of green, i.e. successful sessions. Successful sessions are really just sessions that didn't bounce off. That's I've referred to them as successful sessions. If you scroll down, you can see all the different months. You can see the page view percentages. You can also see the change from one. You can see the sessions. You can see the change there. You can see the bounce, successful, bounce rate, and sessions. So you can see all of those different figures that make up the graphs and some others from the bounce rate report. So the next one is the source report for your business. So let's go and take a look at the source report. All right, the source report is where your visitors are coming from, how they're actually finding you. Is it through organic search, social, direct referral, all the rest? So the first thing we need to do is this data here, there's no month shown here, but because I'm updating this, I know what's going on. This data is from May 2019, so we need to get May 2020. So the first thing we do is we clear that. Now we need to go, and this, it tells us here, this is the latest of the 12 months. That's the one we're changing. So we need to go and get that data. So it says acquisition overview. So if we go here and we scroll down to acquisition and then overview, now it gives us the data that we need. What else do we need to do? It says then select the date range. The date range is already selected, but if you click on the calendar, you can get the date range by just clicking on the start and end date and saying apply. And then once you're done, export to Excel. Now we open up this spreadsheet. Click enable editing so that we can get access to the data. and click on data sets, and here we go. Now we're not going to copy everything, so let's just go and have a look and see. In fact, this is probably a good thing to do all the time, just in case Google actually has switched any of the columns around. But if we have a look and see, we've got default channel grouping across to the duration. If we go here, back to the other spreadsheet, we're only going up to average session duration, so we're not getting the last three. So what we do then is we make sure we get the right columns. Edit, copy. What may also be a good idea is just to double check that the right columns are in fact in the right order for what you need, and then go back to the original spreadsheet once you've copied, and go right click, paste values. Always paste values, never paste. Just double check those all look right in the right columns, so that's okay. And then we've got the source. So now what we can do is we can actually now go to the report, and we can have a look at the source report. So the source report, where the visitors are coming from, you can see the organic search. Obviously this month in September, my organic search just went nuts. That was because of the Rugby World Cup, and I did a few spreadsheets, and loads of people found me through Google, so it just went crazy during that time. But you can see where the sessions are coming from month on month. You can also see a breakdown of the sessions per source, the page views per source, and the total time per source. Now the reason why I've done the two graphs, I've done them next to each other, is because you can actually realize here, for example, the number of sessions in the green, so referral, are quite low by the number of sessions from everywhere else, but the time portion looks like it's a bigger slice of the pie in time. So actually what this is telling me, referrals, for example, there might only be a few of them coming on, but they are actually spending more time on average than the other sources, which is, those kind of things are quite interesting to know. And here you can see, it just looks chaos here, but you can see the bounce rate per source. So month on month, what the bounce rate is like. So the bounce rate here on referrals in March was actually very high, which was quite strange. So you can look into those, because the whole reason for looking at your website and understanding is to see what the numbers are telling you. But then you have to balance this with your marketing and SEO and all the rest of it that you do, and try and understand why it's happening like this. This is only half of the story to see what's happening. It's then the other half to find out why. But here you can have a look at the organic search and the sources and all the rest of it, along with how many sessions, page views, total time, bounce successions, successful successions, and then the bounce rate. So you can have a look at that per source. The next thing we can do is the location report. Right, here's the location report. Once again, we need to clear this data because this was from last year. So we clear the relevant data. This is the latest month. Remember, we updated it on the intro and settings tab. So now we need to get the new data. So we go to audience, geo, location. So if we go to audience, geo, location, now it gives where the audience had come from, what countries. But the problem is, when you come down here, you'll see it only shows the first 10 rows. So the first thing you need to do is set that to 50 rows and then set the date location. So we need to set this to 50 rows. So it's got the right number of countries. And then you come here back to the date. Remember what we're doing for all of them. Set it to the right date period. Apply. And then export to Excel. That download we can then open. And as per normal, we want to switch on the editing. So enable editing. And then, don't know why Excel opens it like that. Go to dataset 1, and there we've got the list of countries. Now again, this doesn't use all the data, so if we go back to where we were on the other spreadsheet, you'll see it goes up to average session duration. And if we come back to here again, so it doesn't include those last 3 columns. So what we need to do is select that data, not the totals at the bottom, right click, copy, come into here, paste values, not normal paste, paste values, and voila, it's in, and we've got the latest month. So let's go to the report and see what that is all about. Location here, this location is slightly different because normally we've told you what we're going to have on the report, whereas with this one you can actually select the countries that you want to see. You can select up to 10 countries. You don't have to use all of them, you can leave it blank if you want to, but when you click on the drop down list you'll see a list of all the countries, and those countries are in order of the number of sessions that we've had from each of those different countries. So the only countries that will appear on here are ones that you've had throughout this 12-month period, and it counts up all the sessions over all of them and it puts them in order in this drop down list. So the ones where you're getting the most views will be at the top, right down to the ones where you're getting the least views will be right at the bottom. So you can select up to 10 countries to view, and see if you remove it, it takes it off completely. If you add in this, if the 10 countries, it gives you the number of sessions, page views, total time, bounce sessions, successful sessions, and then bounce rate. And if you scroll down, you can see where those sessions are coming per country per month. So you can see there was an increase here in January from the UK viewers. You can see where everything's going up. Everything popped up there. You can see South Africa quite high, United Kingdom and New Zealand and Ireland all jumping up there, and Australia. The reason for that was because of the Rugby World Cup. So you can see the countries that are peaking are France, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa and United Kingdom. So it's all a lot of the rugby playing nations. Anyhow, if you scroll down, you can see the breakdown by different country, by sessions per country, page views per country, and total time. And you can see I've also included in the grey section, which are all other countries. So you can actually see basically 50% of all page views are coming from the UK, slightly fewer sessions. So you can see ones where, for example, even the UK, you're getting fewer sessions, but obviously more time spent and more page views, so they're looking around more in the UK, which is great. That's what we want. Here you can see the bounce rate per month. Very often these bounce rates just look like spaghetti because they're all over the place. It's often a lot easier to see it if you were actually just to come here and clear all of these, clear content, so that you just got one. Then it becomes a bit easier to see what the trends are. So you can see one at a time, or obviously put in all of them, as many as you want. So that is the location report. The next one that we can move on to is the duration report. So the duration report, this is to say how long people are spending when they come onto your website. So first of all, what we're going to do is, this data is from last year. Let's clear this data and let's show you how to get the new data for May 2020. It says audience behavior engagement. So if we go to audience and we scroll down to behavior and then engagement, then it says select session duration and then date range and export. We can get rid of this one. Let's go to session duration's already been selected, and then we go to the date range, which is already selected, but you'd select there 1st to the 31st. May as well just do it again to close that window, apply, and then you export to Excel. So this is the session duration. Later on we'll get to the page depth one where we'll use the other one, but for now let's go here and open that download. Once again, enable editing and go to the data set, and here we can select all of that, not the headers, not the totals. Copy sessions and page views, and if we come back here we'll see it's just sessions and page views. Paste that in. Now we've got the latest data from May 2020. Let's go to the report and see what that one says. Now we can see the sessions per time frame. So 0 to 10 seconds obviously shot up. Here we've got 11 to 30 seconds, 31 to 60 seconds. So you can see how many of each of these different sessions you're actually having, depending on how long people are staying on your website. So you can see roughly how long they're actually staying on your website for. You can also come here and you can see page views per time frame. So how many of the page views were in 0 to 10 seconds, how many page views did you have 0 to 30 seconds, so on and so forth. And if you scroll down, you can see the sessions per time frame and page views per time frame. So obviously what this means is that the 0 to 10 seconds, we're having a lot more sessions, fewer page. The page views obviously more spread out. So you can see what's going on. If you scroll down, you can see all those values that are using for the graphs. You can see sessions, page views, pages per session on average, percentage of sessions, and percentage of page views. So this 66% of the possession of the sessions on the website, 0 to 10 seconds. So that gives you an idea of how long people are spending on your website, broken down into the categories that they give. The next one is the page depth report. Right, so the page depth report, let's once again clear this data from May, because that's 2019, and it's going to get May 2020. So we go to audience behavior engagement. We've actually already done that. We've clicked on audience, we've then gone to behavior, and we've gone to engagement, but this time we select the page depth. Now we've got the page depth, so it's showing us how many pages people are actually visiting each time they come to the website. So we set the date range, apply. Now just before we export, or actually we can export first, I'll show you on the download. Let's open up the download. Remember always to click enable editing. You might have to make that window bigger if you can't see the tabs. Now you can see it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's no 11 or 12 in this, 13 and 14, no 15, 16, so on, which meant there weren't any people in this month looking at 11 or 12 pages. So it doesn't show it on here. So what I've done is, if you select all of that, not the headers or the totals, copy that, come back to your spreadsheet and paste values. So even though you've got different numbers appearing there and here, Excel behind the scenes is working out how many pages there are and then putting them into categories. Because then when you come to the report, this one's slightly different. Because it only shows 10 options and you've got 20 pages. Now remember here where it says 20 pages, that includes views that have more than 20 pages. So if someone's viewed 25 pages, it still goes in 20. There isn't an option for more than that. Alright, so you can actually come up here and select how many pages you'd like in each category. So if I put a 1 in there, you see that obviously that changes to just 1 page. And you can say maybe 2 or 3 pages. And then as you can see on the left, it changes to the next one. So 4 to 9, if we go 4 to 6, 7 to 10, 11 to 13, maybe 14 to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that kind of thing. So you can break these down however you want. You can double check there as to what pages it's including, and then those sessions, page views, pages per session, and so on and so forth will all show you, because obviously some of these ones here, we've got 14 to 16, it's 14.5 pages per session amongst those ones. They won't necessarily, they won't necessarily be the exact figure. When you select only 18, then obviously it's going to be exactly 18. You can see the percentage of the sessions and the percentage of the page views made up of each of those different options. Here you can see a sessions per page depth range per month, so you can see how many sessions from each of these ranges per month, and then you can also see the page views per page depth range per month. So those are the sessions and those are the page views. So you can see obviously a lot more sessions there for one page, but then the page views, you've now got 2 to 3 pages jumping up there. So, and here you've got your sessions and page views per depth range. So what your sessions make up from the total and what your page views make up. So you can see what's happening with your sessions and the page views based on how long the people have actually been, or sorry, how many pages they've been to actually view on your website. The next one is the entry report. Alright, the entry report. This is where the people are entering your website, what page. So the first thing we want to do is we want to clear the data from May, because this was from last year. So let's clear that data and let's go and collect the data from May 2020. So it says behavior, site content, landing pages. So we go to Google Analytics. there is a behavior under, for example, here under audience, but that's not the behavior. We're looking for the behavior at the head of the menu. Behavior, what does it say? Site content, landing pages. So we go to behavior, site content, landing pages. Now this time we want to get the first 100 pages. So if we come down to show number of rows and set that to 100, because whatever this is set to, that's what it'll download. So you want to make sure you've set it to the right thing, to 100. Leave that as sessions, that's fine. We come to the date range, select the date range that you want to do, apply, and then export as Excel. Now we open that one up. Enable editing, and it's got a data set 1. Now again, we don't use the last 3, we only use up to average session duration. Let's just check that and make sure. There we go, average session duration. So we come back here, we go to the one we've just opened, and we highlight select everything, not the headers, up across the average session duration, all the way down, not the totals. Copy, come back to the spreadsheet, paste values, and that is now the latest May 2020 input. Let's go to the report and let's see what's going on. Again, like some of the other ones, you can select which pages you'd like to see. Now if you click on the drop down list, it puts the pages in order of the number of sessions that you've actually had arriving on your website in each of these pages, so you can see which ones are the top ones, which ones are the ones that you really want to be looking at, because they're all right at the top of the list. As you scroll down, you'll get to some of the more obscure pages at the bottom. What that does is shows you how many sessions on your website that started at that page, how many page views that started at that page, and then the total time people have spent when they came on at those different pages. So you can see the bounce rate. So it's actually quite useful to be able to see what people are doing when they arrive at any of these pages. So which of these entry pages are better landing pages really is what you're looking at. And here you can see the number of sessions per month, so you can see how the sessions went up per month when they entered on that particular page. And here you can see the sessions, page views, and total time based on which page they actually started looking at your website. So if you can see if there's anything valuable that you can learn from there. The bounce rate as well, all over the place like spaghetti. But again, you can actually clear these and you can look at one at a time if you want to, and then you can really see these line graphs exactly. Okay, the pie charts aren't particularly useful when you've only got one, but the line graphs really are useful, easy to read when you look at one at a time. That's why I've done it like that. So that is the entry report. Let's go and take a look at the exit report. Right, the exit report, much like the entry report, this is just a case of where are people actually leaving your website. Once they've been on, they've looked around, what page are they on when they go, okay, I've had enough of this, I'm leaving this website, because that's also useful to know. So let's clear the data and let's go and find that. So in Google Analytics, so we go to behavior, site content, and exit pages. So if we go to behavior, we're already on behavior, we're already on site content. So here, instead of landing pages, we go to exit pages. Again, we want to see the top 100, so we scroll down to show 100 rows. Up to the top, set the date range 1 to 31. If you can't remember what sequence to follow, if you actually have a look here, it'll tell you what you need to be doing there. And then go to export and export as an Excel document. Then you want to open up that document, and once again click on the enable editing, maximize it if need be. Data set 1, here is the data you need, so not the headers, not the totals at the bottom. Copy back to your spreadsheet, right click, paste values, not paste will ruin your spreadsheet, paste values. So now we've got the latest data for May 2020 as far as exit pages are concerned, so let's go and have a look at the report. we've selected the exit pages. Now you can select up to 10, you can select 1, you can select all 10. If you click on that and see the drop down list, they will be in the order of where people have most left your website, what page they were on when they left. Here you can see your exit views and non-exit views. So that means that this page download, 1,888 times people were on that page, they left the website, and 2,189 times they were on that page, they clicked further in to go and have a look at other things. Now, I know that a lot of people find the website from downloads. As you can see, a lot of people enter that page, and the whole reason I kept changing the page to try and get more people to look around the website, because this was at almost 100% at one point. It's now, your exits from page is now only 18%. I mean, so that's percentage exit 46%, rather than it was about 90% when I started. So I've really been working hard on that. So yeah, exit views, non-exit views, the percentage of times that they exit on that page, and then you can see the percentage of exits from that page. So this really is just 18% of the time they exit from the website, it's from that downloads page. That's what that means. We can scroll down and have a look here, exit per page. Here we can see how many times they've actually exited from that page, from each of these different pages that we've selected. And here we can see the exit activity. So each of this shows up to 10 pages and shows how many times they've actually come on and left, and how many times they've come on and stayed. And those are the percentage of exit, the percentage on that axis there. And then you can see the exit rate per page as well. Again, I mean, here you can see the Six Nations sweepstake was up, down, up, down, up, down, all over the place. The other ones are much more consistent. But again, these line graphs, you can often see a lot more if you actually just show one page at a time. So that's why it doesn't automatically select the pages. You can come here and select what you would like to see. Next one up, let's go and have a look at the device report. Alright, here's the device report. I find this one quite fascinating because, yes, in Google you can go down all the way to see kind of exactly what brand of mobile phone people are using, that kind of thing. But it's useful just to see, particularly desktop, mobile and tablets. So let's just clear this data, because this was last year's data for this particular month, clear contents, and let's go into Google Analytics to get this data. So it's audience, mobile overview. If we go to audience, what was it? Sorry, audience, yeah, mobile overview, audience, mobile overview. What that does now is it will give us the desktop, mobile and tablet. So what we want to do here is just go to the month, select the month that we want, apply, and then we're going to export that data as a CSV. And once again, open that one up. We want to get that data all the way across to average session duration. So if we click enable editing, go to the data set, don't copy the headers, across to average session duration, don't copy the totals, right click copy, and go back to the spreadsheet, right click paste values, not normal paste, that'll ruin the spreadsheet. You want to do paste values. You've got paste values in, you've got the latest month, so that's May 2020. Right, so let's go and have a look at the report. If we click on the report, here we can see the device report. We can see again the sessions per device. So you can see when I had that big lot of page views in September because of the Rugby World Cup, and the majority of them were happening on the desktop. So that's interesting to know. You can see obviously where people are visiting your website. You can see a breakdown of the sessions per device, page views and total time, because this will also help you to see, for example, here it's almost exactly 3/4 of the views are from the desktop, but from a time they're spending slightly longer. So that would indicate that they're probably spending slightly longer on the website if they visit from a desktop. So you can see a nice breakdown of this. You might have more drastic graphs where actually they're spending a lot longer on a particular device. Now that might be a good thing or it might be a bad thing. You need to decide, what you do with this data. But there we can see a bounce rate as well, all fairly consistent, except for the tablets seem to go up there for some reason. You scroll down here, you can see all of the numbers: desktop, the number of sessions, page views, total time, bounce sessions, successful sessions, and then the bounce rate. So you can see here which one they're more likely to bounce off, the tablet, mobile, or desktop. And then next thing, we can move down to the individual pages report. Let's go and take a look at that. Right, so here's the individual pages report. This is really just having a look at all the different pages, how many views you've had, page views, and time spent on it, and all the rest of it. So let's just go and clear the data first and foremost, because this is all from last year. And now we want to go and get May's one. So it's behavior, site content, all pages. Let's go and have a look. We scroll down to behavior. We scroll down to site content, all pages. What else does it tell us to do? It says select 100 rows and then do the data. So if we go down here, remember it only shows 10 rows. We want to go to 100 because we want to see 100 pages each month, the top 100 pages each month. And then we go to the date, set the date again for the respective month, apply. And then you want to go to export and to CSV, to Excel. Enable editing, data set 1. Now this one, let's just go back and have a look, because I don't think we need to use all the page values. If we go back to the other spreadsheet, you'll see it ends on percentage exit. So if we go here, it ends on percentage exit. So we don't need that last column down to the bottom, not the header or the totals. Copy back into the spreadsheet, paste values. Now we've got the latest month. Let's go back to the report. Individual page report. Now again, like the other ones, if you haven't seen them, you can select the pages that you want. The order that they appear here are your most visited pages. So you can actually see my downloads page is visited more often than the home page, and that was thanks to that massive spike during the Rugby World Cup. But you can go and select the pages. They, as I said, they appear in the order of the number of page views that you've had. They're the number of page views. So each of those pages, that's how many times they've been viewed. Here you can see the entrance views. So how many times did they enter on that particular page? You can see the total time spent on each of those pages. You can see how many sessions on those pages were bounced, i.e. they came on and went straight off, and how many were actually successful sessions, so they spent some time doing some stuff on that page. And you can see the bounce rate. You can also come down and you can see the page views per month, so you can see how those page views have gone per month over the course of the 12-month period. And if you scroll down a bit further, you can see the page views per page, entrance views, and total time. So the grey are all the other pages, so that is an overall view of your website, all the pages visited. The ones in colour are the ones we've selected. The grey one is all the pages we haven't selected. So what this is telling you, for example, is that the red one here, the what was that? The downloads, page views. I've had a fair number of page views, but entrance page views, I've had a higher percentage of entrances on that page than I've actually had page views, but a very small in proportion amount of time spent on that page. So, for example, the light green one, the Spreadsheet Rugby World Cup game, which is a game that made fewer people coming along to it, but they're spending longer on it. So you can actually get an idea of, just by looking at the colors in these graphs, how they relate, the page views, entrance views, and total time actually relates to each other. So that's quite a useful set of graphs to have. And then you've got the exit rate as well. Now this could mean anything. Again, if this looks like spaghetti and it's all mixed up, you can go up to the top and just do one page at a time, just clear the other ones. That will help you with the line graphs, but obviously you're going to have a not quite as exciting pie chart. But that's it. That's the last of the reports. So let's just go back to the beginning, and I will do a very quick recap. Right, so the first thing to do is set up the 12 months, for the first month at least. If you're going to do 12 months worth of data, do one at a time. And as I said, as you select each month, it'll give you the next month is dropped under. So this is telling me that the 1st of June 2019 is the oldest of the 12 months. So when I come back here again next month, and I'll do the 1st of June 2020, and then I do repeat that process to go through each of the tabs that I've got, clear the data from the June 2019. When I change this to 2020 and I go to here, it'll actually say June 2020. But clear that data first, the one with the cream header above it. Clear the data, get the new data, paste values into here, and then I've updated that. Go through all the different tabs, and that will update the report accordingly. The report colors down the side, you can see which tab it relates to, so you'll know what you've got in your spreadsheet. And if you're looking at the demo, you'll know what parts of the report you will actually have based on which components you order. There are two other things while you're here that may be of use to you. If you really like the spreadsheet and you want to use it, but you're not comfortable going into Google Analytics to collect this data, and you'd prefer someone else to do it, we can help you with that. There are two ways to do this. Either we can talk you through how to go and set up an automatic email that will email us the data each month so we can put into the spreadsheet for you, or there's a way that you can actually give us access to your Google Analytics data. Now, you don't give us access to your Google Analytics, we can't set up code and all that kind of stuff. All we can do is go and see the data, download the data we need, and put it into the spreadsheet. So if you want us to do that, please get in touch with us. We can help you with that. We can do that on a monthly basis for you. There is an extra charge involved in that, but it's also all on the website, so take a look and see what that entails. If you're comfortable doing that yourself and you want it, then all you need to do is buy the spreadsheet. If you do take us up on the admin offer, you will still need to purchase the spreadsheet, so you can decide which components you want, which tabs you want to have, based on what data you want to be able to see, what you want to see on the report. Make the selections, purchase the spreadsheet, and then, as I said, either do that process yourself using this demo video. If you would like added support for me to help you, to show you how the spreadsheet works so you can do it yourself, get in touch, we can do that. Or else if you would like us to do this for you monthly, that would be my wife Wendy who would do that, but she would be able to log in, get your details, put them in the spreadsheet, and then just email you the spreadsheet each month. So as much or as little support as you need, let us know. But either way, do purchase the spreadsheet with the tabs that you want. So I think that's everything. I hope that explains everything. If not, get in touch if you'd like any more information. But otherwise, I wish you all the best with your website and understanding your Google Analytics. Thank you very much, and goodbye.